What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about a very serious and important topic. The tap in Jiu-Jitsu is sacred. Anyone who deliberately ignores a tap must be kicked out. Some schools have a 2-strike policy. I do not. For adults, I have a 1-strike policy. For kids, I have a 2-strike policy, okay? Here's my rationale behind this. There's a difference between not realizing that your partner is tapping and therefore potentially injuring them as a result. Obviously, that sucks, and that person was careless, and as a result of their carelessness, their training partner became injured. However, that is an order of magnitude or two less severe than someone who deliberately ignores someone's tap for the purpose of injuring them. That person cannot ever be trusted to train Jiu-Jitsu in that environment. And Jiu-Jitsu requires a very high trust culture. Anyone who disrupts that high trust culture must be eliminated. This is not negotiable. You get a single parasite to come into the school that violates that high trust environment and it disintegrates everything. So, if something ever happens at the school where you know with 100% certainty that somebody deliberately ignored the tap of another student to injure them, they're done. They will never come back. They should be banned. Not only should you ban them, you should warn other schools in the area about them and why you kicked them out so that they don't go and train Jiu-Jitsu somewhere else and potentially injure someone else. This is a person who is either very malevolent or they have an extremely low emotional maturity and they can't be trusted with this information. Now, if I have a 1-strike policy with adults, why do I have a 2-strike policy for kids? Well, because kids are not adults, because kids can learn, because kids are much dumber than adults, and they need to be instructed on some things. So I would have a 2-strike policy with a child. Now, I've said in previous videos, and this is still true, I do not teach submissions in my general kids class. I have a group of kids which I select based on what I perceive to be a high emotional maturity to learn submissions in a separate competition team class. And that's something that I encourage all instructors to do because, again, if not every adult has the emotional maturity to learn submissions and do them safely and in a way that other people can trust them with that information, then certainly not all kids do. And you should be very selective about which kids you teach submissions to. Again, I've said it before. I have 6 and 7-year-olds that are extremely emotionally mature and they understand the danger that submission imparts on the other person that they're applying them, and I trust them to do it safely. I have 14-year-olds that I've seen that I would not trust to teach submissions, So this all is very dependent on the person that you're teaching, okay? Now, if I were to make a mistake, and fortunately this has never happened, but if I were to make a mistake and I taught a kid submissions that later on used one of those submissions to deliberately hurt another student when they were live rolling or, doing something else, I would have a very serious conversation with that student. They would get kicked out of my comp team and put back into the class where they're no longer learning submissions. And then I would probably reevaluate my decision 6 months later, okay? So with kids, again, some of them are going to make stupid choices. They're going to react emotionally. And your job as an instructor or a parent is to correct that behavior and make sure that it does not happen again. You need to set a high standard of behavior for your kid. And every year that they get older, you need to raise that standard until eventually they're acting on an adult standard of what it means to be responsible with the freedom that being an adult entails. So I would expect much less of a 6-year-old than I would a 12-year-old, That being said, every kid in certain areas of life and in certain aspects of their maturity, they're all going to be on different levels. So do this analysis on a case-by-case basis. Now, going back to the adults, again, guys, Jiu-Jitsu requires a high-trust environment. You are trusting people with your bodily safety and your life when you train these techniques, okay? I've done private lessons with people and, had them put me in submissions where no one else is in the room. And guess what? If that person decides to continue choking me, past the point where I tap, I would be in very big trouble, So I wouldn't trust someone that has in the past deliberately hurt someone and ignored a tap to train jiu-jitsu in a way that is going to be conducive to a positive, high-trust environment, which is going to attract other people to the school and to learn the martial art. As a gym owner, as a school owner, you have more than enough freedom to discriminate and not let certain people train jiu-jitsu. I do not have to let certain people train jiu-jitsu. I won't let people that I don't trust with this information train jiu-jitsu. I won't let ethno-nationalists train jiu-jitsu. I can make those distinctions. I'm the school owner, okay? And you are under no obligation to train someone that you think would do damage with the information that you're providing them. So, hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you share it. I think this is a very important message that, we need to get out there. We need to be responsible with how we learn jiu-jitsu and who we allow to train jiu-jitsu. So, drop a comment if there's something you disagree with. If there's something you want to expand upon, make sure you subscribe if you're new. Smash that thumbs up button if you like the video. And click that notification bell. That way you guys get notified every time we have new videos coming out. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you next time.